Good morning, everybody. We are in Genesis 37:18. We had a 2 day breakup, 2 day delay on that because some issue popped up. But I think the issues are coming, y'all, in a manner that's hitting where we need to hit. We're growing where we need to grow. Amen. It's a timely fashion that we're being pruned in the right areas at the right time. God is working here. I don't know, but I'm the better for it. For all this stuff that happened with all this old Messiah thing and all that. So, I heard different stuff. But yeah, don't let me get too sidetracked, man. We're on Genesis 37:18. I heard some different stuff. I've heard some. It's almost like the attacks are getting weaker and weaker. So, this is all happening for a reason, guys. These attacks are really, really weak on the Bible. They're really, really, really weak. And that's just the point I'm trying to make. Okay. The Bible's not true at all, which is just ridiculous. That's probably one of the most far-reaching ones. Or actually, it's actually one of the best ones. Okay. Jesus is Christ, but he's not the Messiah based on... Jesus existed, and he was crucified, but he's not the Messiah based on Exhibit A through Z, point 8. Okay. Okay. The whole New Testament is fake. Period. Okay. The Old Testament's real, and the New Testament's real. They're just wrong. It just goes on and on and on and on and on, but it's just a bunch of cow s. Okay, so it doesn't even classify as. I'm not even gonna give it the dignity of saying BS, because BS would be like something that was passable. This is just a reach. Okay, I've heard a lot of stuff, but anyway, let's go on. So we're the better for it. That's why I'm glad that I decided to make the Bible study stance. Yeah, I talked to a dude last night, and I'm only going to talk for a couple minutes on this. I'm really ready to take off now, but I talked to a dude last night, and it was... Now, I'm not saying the wrong... This is great, because it's really building me up. It was... I'm an atheist. No, that's great. That's the people we love, atheists. Those are the good ones. Because they're super intelligent, and they have logical stuff. Okay. And it was really nothing he could say against it. It would just show me. And that was cool. But look, I'm not really getting anywhere right now. Yeah, we had a lot of cool stuff. So look, let's take off and have where our real Bible study is, because we always have food. We always have stuff in our Bible. We don't just sit here and blabber about nothing. We can learn about the story and become more intimate. We can become more intimate, because this is our story. Yes, the Red Sea was parted. Yes, Jesus rose from the dead. Yes, the walls of Jericho fell. Yes, the donkey talked. Yes, all that happened. All that happened. All that happened. Yes, they put a man on the moon. Yes, they did all this stuff. We do more miracles than God did. We do more miracles than God would. And I said, he said, well, that's through a method of science that we know. I said, okay, fair enough. I said, can you sustain dead weight through the air? He said, no. I said, what do you mean? You got to do it every day with airplanes. So it's just basic stuff. I said, if you're on Antarctica and you're talking to me over here, is that possible? Can you talk and hear me? He said, no. He said, yeah, but with cellular technology. He didn't say how that works. It's just we do it. Okay? So, anyway, here we go. 37:18. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And what a little backdrop of what we're doing here. This is this is Joseph. He's a dreamer. He tells his father they're going to make he had a dream and they're making obeisance to him. It's about sheaves in the field. Sheaves. Like pieces of wheat or corn or something like that. And they're really just wheat. But maybe it was corn or wheat. It was probably wheat. But I guess a sheave is probably a bound up piece of it's probably a bound up, if I'm guessing, a bundle, maybe a bundle, maybe a sheave. A sheave may be a bundle of wheat. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is, but a sheave. His dream basically says that they're going to be bowing down to him. Father, everybody. Yeah. And there's some Gnosticism almost in there. It looks like, because he's talking about the sun and moon will bow down. Oh my God. It's just everything. So here we go. And they said one to another, behold, this dreamer cometh. And yeah, guys, we actually read our Bible here. We actually read our Bible. For the past month, we're doing a Bible study from front to back. We're not just blabbering about nothing. We stand behind the word. We read it. No, I know nothing about my Bible. I was informed. I know absolutely nothing about my Bible, and I should go read it. Because I know nothing about my Bible. I'm pretty sure my theology meets up with Paul's. I'm pretty dead on with mine. Okay, I'm pretty dead on with mine. Okay, pretty dead on. Pretty dead on. Okay. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will slay him. Some evil beast hath, and we will say, some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. Evil beast. Hello. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit. And guys, I just had a vision. Not a vision, but an image of why bad things happen. Don't you know that he went on to save so many people through the famine? He stored up, through his wisdom, he used storehouses, and masses of people survived because of the famine, because of the storehouses that he had. He told the Pharaoh, not exact word, but he went on to tell the Pharaoh. And this is just like the Christ. Oh, well, the cherry picked up. Just like the Christ. He had those people crucified to Christ so that Christ could go on. And that's what it says. That whole free will dilemma, it's all solved right there in the Christ. It's all solved right here. Yeah, evil goes on, but guess what? He went on to save masses and countless of people through his technology and his wisdom and forbearance to store up the grain. And he was he was in charge of everything. And that's just a perfect image of the Christ. But let me got news for you guys. Your life is no less significant than Joseph. Your life is no less significant than Joseph. The only one who has more significance than you is Christ. That's the only one. Okay, so get off this crap y'all are on. Listen. His brothers conspired to kill him. Threw him into a pit. They were going to kill him. One of the brothers said, no, don't. Let's just throw him into a pit and something like that. Don't kill him, no. It's too harsh. Okay, so they tried to kill him by throwing him into the pit, basically, leaving him for dead. And what happened was, he ended up going to save countless, who knows, thousands, who knows, millions, who knows, probably thousands, a lot of people that day, back in the day. A lot of people, the whole land of Pharaoh. And there's going to be a lot more imagery in the story that I'm seeing from my oblivious biblical knowledge, that I know nothing. Okay. That's what I know. I know nothing. I can have 4 rows through a biblical books. That was a cool video about all the biblical books he had. But anyway, that's cool. That's cool. But if you don't become like little babes, you're not going to go. Can little babes read rows and rows of books and still end up with incorrect deductions? How does that make you a little babe? Are you like a little child that Jesus was spoken about? It sounds like the opposite to me. It sounds like a lust for knowledge, incorrect knowledge. It sounds like a lust for incorrect knowledge. That's what it sounds like. Whether you realize it or not, you're subconsciously, your faith is very strong. Misguided. Subconsciously, you have a desire to believe. Subconsciously, you believe a lot. You're just looking for a little more proof. Well, guess what? God's going to come out and talk to you. God's going to talk to you. Through signs, probably. Don't quote me on this, but okay, what kind of sign do you need? You know, he can be pretty blatant, but you have to be really to admit it. And you can deny it and deny it and deny it and say, oh, it's not a sign, it's not a sign, it's not a sign, that's not a sign. But sooner or later, he may give you enough to go on. You say, hold on, this is just too many signs. Is this really happening? Yeah, it's really happening. God's talking to you. It may be through this video. You feel a hair on the back of your neck? You feel a hair on the back of your neck coming up? Am I onto something? Goosebumps? Hey, whatever. Whatever. Jesus said, those who seek for a sign, something along the line, he said, they'll get one. Something like the son of Jonah. How big of a sign is that? I die and resurrect. And the earth shakes and all this stuff happens when I die. How much of a sign do you need? How much of a sign do you need? And the ones around him said, surely that was the Son of God. That's what they said. Surely that was the Son of God when he died. Yeah, they knew it. He was praying for them. All kind of stuff. Surely that was the Son of God. In the New Testament, they said, surely I do not lie to you. Peter or someone else. Surely I do not lie to you. The utmost reverence in the New Testament about the Christ. The utmost reverence. The utmost reverence. Always defining what they were up front. Hey, I'm a servant of Jesus Christ. Greetings to you. May peace and grace. He always had the fundamentals right first. Always had the fundamentals right first in the greetings of what we're supposed to do. Hey, this is Paul, a servant of the Lord Jesus Christ. May grace be multiplied unto you. Always the fundamentals up first, which is a sign of a true believer. Saying in a letter, saying what's up front first like you're supposed to do. hey, this is who I am. This is what I believe. This is my purpose. Why? Because I have eyewitness account. But no, they made it up for world control. No, they had it all wrong. They were mistaken. This is ridiculous, man. How much do you need to see or hear? Maybe you just have to have that kind of ear. Those who have eyes to hear, listen. Those who have eyes to see, perceive. Anybody can hear something, background noise, but are you listening? Anybody can hear something, a freeway in the background, but are you listening to hear what kind of car it is? Are you leaning in to hear? Anybody can see words on a paper in letters, but are you understanding what it's saying? Are you perceiving the message that I'm telling you? Are you perceiving? Do you understand what you're hearing? Is it hitting? Is it? Anyway, this is, God is going to give what he needs at the appropriate time on his channel. For me, through the questions people have, and for you, through what I'm saying to you. That is if you need it. I'm not saying you do. I know I do. But I have a firm belief that whatever comes at this channel is going to come at the appropriate time. My faith is through the roof. Okay? I've seen enough. I have an intuition of stuff going on because God has allowed me that to happen through whatever reason. Before the foundation of the world, whatever the reason is, I personally believe it was to make this channel. That we're going to have enough people got up that we're going to beget, this channel is going to beget enough followers that when we say stuff, we're making an impact. We're changing people's days. We're changing people's lives. Not me, him. I'm just a mouthpiece. Through this video, we're going to be making an impact. A significant impact. People aren't going to be yelling at their wives as much. People aren't going to be abusing people as much. People will think twice before they pick up that crack pipe or pick up that meth pipe. They'll think twice before they stick a needle in their arm, maybe, through us. Maybe. Maybe somebody in prison will think about it. Think about not doing drugs when they come out. Maybe they'll not do that. Maybe, we're going to make an impact here. That's the plan. So guys, if any of my videos are resonating anywhere, particularly the last two, I'm on YouTube at Preach Facts. Please share these videos, man, because I'm dedicated, man. I don't want to sit around all day making shorts. I'd rather just have to drop the video and focus my video time on that. It's making these videos. I'm only doing one a day. Okay? So, I've been informed I'm going to hell because I ate pork. I'm just trying to tell y'all how ridiculous this stuff is so that we can grow with our solid meat on the bone faith that you can trust. And trust. You can trust. You can trust that you've made the right decision to acknowledge the Bible wholeheartedly. For more reasons than I can count. Just basic stuff. Basic stuff. And we'll go back through them, as time comes. It's going to come allotted as we're going. Everything's going to be allotted. Okay. So if anything about these videos is hitting home, particularly the last two, And I want to give the most thanks to the biblical scholar that came on the live. Okay? I want to give the most thanks because he just strengthened my faith so much about the stuff he's saying that I went and looked at the stuff he was saying. You know, and I'm just so happy that he did that. So you helped me grow because the stuff you're saying is not solid at all. It's a case. It's a case. It's a case. You brought me to court. You're suing the Lord. I get it. It is a case. It must be heard. We give due process here at the channel. You be due process here. But the verdict is in. The stuff you shared has nothing to it. Grounds. You're right. It is a case. It is a stance. It is that I acknowledge, I hear what you're saying. You couldn't do that for me. I'm not saying you won't. But when you come, sharpen your knife. You know, load your guns up. Do what you got to do because what you had is nothing. And I will make several videos about the BS that you bring. That's all you can come with is slavery and unfulfilled messianic prophecy. That's it? I would think you'd come with your best guns first. Because if that's it, it just gets weaker after that. I don't know what to say. I'm kind of baffled that you would even take that stance. Like, you seem like an intelligent guy. I mean, other than you don't know what vertically means. Vertically. Somebody call Webster. You mean like this? You mean like this? No, like this, top to bottom. So you're telling me that if we didn't evolve vertically, that we evolved with the world expanding so that gravity was never an issue for us, anything like that. Gravity accommodated us as we grew up, and it based upon us, or vice versa. Are you telling me that we evolved with the atmospheric pressure and gravity in a state that it was never? What you're saying is a lot. It's even more of a reach than Darwin's theory. I see what you're saying about the expansion. But if what you're saying is that, and it dawned on me what you were saying, okay, that it's not like we just evolved from the ground up, or from a puddle up, or from, something wet. That what you're saying is that we evolved with the ever expanding universe, and it's really, really, really wild what you're saying. And I see why you didn't expand on it, because I'm expanding on it for you. Well, I hope that your arguments evolve like that, because that's pretty dynamic. If your arguments evolve anything like what you're saying that we evolved from, then you're going to be one hard dude to beat, because that is some dynamic stuff. It fits every imaginary hole it needs to. It just goes. It just goes, and it just goes. That's your explanation. Evolution is just the divine goop essence that always finds a way. That if that's not God for you, what you're saying, if that's not God, what you're saying, that's definitely a God theory, what you're saying. That type of evolution. So next time, please explain to me how that works, because I think I'm doing it for you based upon the couple words that you said about the expansion. He's basically saying that, okay, it's not like we grow from nothing. It's just that the observation or the relativeness to our size at that time Well, time's not a real thing, right? I don't know. It's really vague what you're saying. The time is relative. It's really not a thing. So how? I mean, it's wild, man. But guess what? I got my eyeball on you, buddy, and I got to hear all this stuff you're saying, because showing me a picture of apes growing up, bro, you can get roasted on this channel, man. I'm telling you, you need to have some solid stuff before you tell me it's enough to go against this. Because guess what? 6 days in the eyes of God is a long time to create the world. 6 days is a long time to God. So based upon our calendar and our relativeness to all that, really doesn't make any sense. But that's one of your main points. The age of the earth, this and that, evidence based upon this and that. No. Okay. I don't even think time should come into the argument, really, because anyway. But look, let me read this through, man, because I'm not wasting another day. I don't think we're wasting. I think we're growing better like this. So there's a scientific approach. There's the we can't trust it because there's contradictions in an approach. And then there's a published approach. The recognized approach. You can publish books. You can do whatever you want. You see these verses? They got numbers next to them. You know what that means? This is law. This is law. These are dockets. This is case numbers. This is law. This is a law library. This is law. You can't do that with other books unless it's law. You can't reference other books against this because it's not law. You can't say, hey, go to this, that, and that, because it's just somebody's opinion. This was recognized as law, not because they want it to be, because it's right. Oh, go to Bliss, this, and this. Let's look at this. Go to this, and this. Genesis, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to Ephesians, blah, blah, blah. And all different minds can recognize that this is recognized as law. And at some point in time, you could be killed for disagreeing with this, I'm sure. I'm sure there was a time and place where you could be killed against this. I'm sure. Or going with it. This is not just stuff, y'all. Verse 20. And come now forward, let us slay him and cast him into some pit, and we will say, some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. Gracie! And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, let us not kill him, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him. Verse 22, 37, verse 22. That he might rid him out, that he might rid him out of their hands, and deliver him to his father again. To deliver him to his father again. No, this is definitely a Christ picture. Over and over. Gracie! Okay. And it came to pass, when Joseph was coming unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread. And they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead, with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh. Can't you see? And going to carry it down to Egypt. Can't you see this is a picture of the burial of Jesus? So you're telling me they reverse engineered all the way back to the Old Testament too? I mean, dude, it's not just in the prophecy, it's all through this, and I'm done. Because it's just out of hand, man. It's out of hand. I could spend all day, every day, talking about this. With new stuff every day. My case is way bigger than y'all's. I could preach every day with solid evidence, solid correlations, not provable, solid stuff that looks just like the Christ. Every day. And speak nothing. I do that. That's what I do. In every chapter, just about. I mean, literally like 90% of these chapters is a spitting image or reverse parallel to the Christ. That's what all this stuff is. In every chapter, not just some cherry-picked prophecies against him. In every chapter are images of the Christ. Good point to make. And I'll make it every time I think I see one. And I'm not saying they all are for sure, but they really are. I'm just saying. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt to realize, okay, you can say it's not. Okay. I'm just showing images. And it's all around. It's in nature. It's not just in this. It's not just in this. Even Paul said, look at the seed. When it leaves the oak, when it leaves the tree, it becomes a husk. It dies. Okay, there's proof all around. Guess what? The seed has to get buried in the ground. And there's a period of suspense. We don't know what's going to happen. It was subjected to futility. Just like when a chicken hatches an egg, it's not guaranteed that's going to hatch a chicken. Everything doesn't grow up. Every seed doesn't sprout. But the point is that it has to die to become the perpetual state. I mean, Jesus died to become and was buried just like a seed in the ground to become the perpetual thing that he is. Okay? I'm not saying he had to, that's just how he did it. But the proof is all around you, preaching to you about life and death. And what happened. We're not just dead. Look at the seed. It leaves, it dies. It becomes a husk. You can put it on the shelf with no water for who knows how long, and it still holds its vitality, even though it's dead off the tree. What part of logic is that? What part of logic is that? What part of logic is that? Completely dies. Who knows how long a shelf life it'll have, and then you can just put it in the ground, and it will perpetuate again. What part of life is that? That's Christ theology. That's spiritual stuff right there, man. Logic tells you that when it dies and there's no more water after so many years, that thing's dead. No, it's not going to move again. It's not going to create forests. It's not going to create trees. It's not going to feed people. It's just a dead thing on the shelf. But no, that's not how that works. Just like your theology doesn't work. Okay, Paul made the same analogy I'm making. All through this thing is preaching about life and death and script in the Christ. And how he's using their evil schemes, if not causing them to do it. He's if not using their evil schemes to save countless others with the famine that he beat through his wisdom and his dreams and his God-given power. So yeah, he got thrown into a pit. Yeah, the father wept. A lot of stuff happened, man, that was sad in the eyes of Joseph. Guess what? He ended up saving them through the famine, or helping them in the famine, and helping countless others in a time of famine. So it's just an image of life and stuff that, everything doesn't have to make sense, but in the long run, it does, if you have eyes to see. Looking back, we can see what happened, and then we can see the Christ in this image too through the story. Yeah, he was murdered, just like Joseph was thrown into a pit with murderous intent. Okay? Look what happened. They ended up getting their junk thrown down their throats. But guess what? He came back to them with love. There was no resentment. Oh, hey guys, I love you. Hug, boom. This is what happened. I love you. There was no ill will from him. And it came to pass. Verse 24. When Joseph was coming to his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. They took him and cast him in a pit. Okay? Verse 25, and they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, okay? And Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content. Hold on, there's something here, I think. This is kind of like, it looks to me like this is them handing him over to the Romans. The Jews didn't crucify him. They didn't kill him. They handed him over to be killed. It was a setup. It was a framing, almost. It was a political move. It was something they deceived. They cleverly devised. Of course, the God was involved in all that, but that's one of the big misconceptions. Is that, God is really in control of everything. It's just coming to that realization. That's the realization. Yeah, you have free will, but guess what? He's intertwined with that. He's intertwined with, he is a part of that free will. He's in all good things, freedom too. So yeah, if you're really free, God is really in control. You're really just doing God's work at that point. If you're really free, preach. That's the only true freedom. Okay, is letting God take the reins. That's true freedom, and that's the miracle. That's the realization. That's enlightenment. Okay. So, and Judah said to his brethren, and here you're talking about the flesh. Okay. And then they're past. And so, God's fury was subsided against the sin. And don't let me get too deep on that. Let's keep going. God's fury, God took his lashes, and God suffered and was beaten for our stuff. How does that work? Trust me, you don't want to get on the mind of that. That's once you start thinking about that, it should be a wake-up call. Hey, God's got way deeper feelings than me. He's really willing to do some crazy stuff to calm down. Okay. So once you realize the gravity of God's fury and the lengths that he'll go to, and he's that guy that's gonna hunt you down and torture you. That he's that serial killer. He's that guy that's gonna plan this out and like Saw, make a room somewhere, the movie Saw, and just really plot things out. God is that guy. Once you see, when God is that guy who's gonna do that kind of stuff. He's gonna make it his purpose to make you suffer type thing. He's gonna go out his way and make it his life. He's gonna go further than anybody, and that's just God's character. Preach. God's gonna do the most. He's doing the most. He's done the most. He will do the most forever. That's what God is. So preach. So don't sit here and tell me anything about this stuff. No, please do. But you're not getting the picture. Come, let us come to the Ishmaelites. I think what happens is, guys, when we read books and stuff about things against the Christ, for one, we read it, and then our imagination goes and fills in all the blanks to fit the story, to make it fit to what he's saying. Okay. Then they're passed by Midianites merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. Told you. And they brought Joseph into Egypt. And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit. We're in 37, y'all. 29. And he rent his clothes. Sounds like a wrenching veil. Joseph was not in the pit. Where's the Lord? He's not in the pit, guys. He's not in the tomb. Where is he? He's going to save tons of stuff. And he's going to save countless people. Hello? Where is he? Where is he? We're looking in the pit. Where is he? He's gone. Where is he? Where's Jesus? Oh, he'll come back. You'll see him. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry in his splendor. Don't worry. Don't worry. Hello? Cherry-picked biblical prophecies. Hello? And he returned unto his brethren and said, the child is not, and I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of goats and dipped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, this we have found now, whether it be the son's coat or no. And God, this is an image of the Christ in front of God, or God, or whatever that technicality is. This is an image of the Christ in front of God. Hey, this is the blood of Christ. This is what you see. Hey, you know, that's what's going on. Nothing else matters. Not the sin, nothing. This is what happened. You're not worried about nothing else but the Christ's blood. That's all we see. That's all he sees. Okay? Or no. Coat or no. That's you or no. Are you there or not? Are you in line or not? Do you believe it or not? Are you doing it or not? And he knew it, and said, "It is my son's coat. An evil beast hath devoured him." Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. Without doubt, without doubt, without doubt, without doubt. The Christ really died without doubt, without doubt. Without doubt. Christ really died on the cross and was the Son of God without doubt, and was missing from the tomb without doubt, and came back without doubt. And Jacob rent his clothes and put on sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, "For I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning." Thus his father wept for him. He refused to be comforted. Don't bring the sin back. Don't bring it back. We're looking at the Christ. Don't bring it back. We refuse it. We don't want to see no sin. We don't see nothing. You know, our son is dead. You know, we're done. The Christ is here. We're done. Don't bring it back. We refuse to look at it. But he refused to be comforted. Guys, let the sin go. He cares more about the Christ. Let the sin go. Get in line with this stuff, man. Get in line with this theology. See the bigger picture. See the bigger picture. See the bigger picture. See the bigger picture. Step into the building. Step into the building of acknowledgement of what's going on here. Step in. Step into the building. This is a spiritual building here that God has made. Step into it. I'm telling you all of the pieces and all the directions on your map quest. I'm giving you all the pieces that I can. And his sons and daughters rose. Okay. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's and captain of the guard. That looks like Satan. You know, he went down to hell to preach to the spirits. I don't know if it was hell, whatever, lower world, underworld, whatever it was. Jesus went down there to the people that hadn't known about it, to preach to them, the spirits. So guys, you can cherry pick prophecies all you want. At the end of the day, every chapter through this book has an image of the Christ, potentially. How many details you need? An empty pit. You know, the father mourning. You know, they didn't want the blood on him. Torn to pieces. He comes back later in glory. He's found in glory. He's saving many more. You know, how many stuff do you need? I'll take a story with correlating principles all day long over some verse that says this and that. It's not just a verse here and there. It's the whole story. It's the whole outline of this looks like the Christ. The whole outline of this story and all through this looks like Christ. Not just a verse here and there that we need to rectify. Every chapter, every story just about Even the first word of the Bible has been broken down, they say, to mean salvation through the Son, for the blood. Every story has correlating principles to salvation in the Christ, in the Father, in all different types of facets on that, using different examples. And I'm not just trying to make it fit. Now, I will do that. And I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Okay, it may not be meaning that, but it sure looks a lot like that. Where else do you see stuff like that? It's not really around in just regular stuff. This is what this is for. This is what this is for. It's for this reason. This channel is for that reason, guys. Guys, we're done. We finished chapter 37. Okay. And that's the main point about this, along with many others. That I'm not saying everything is about the Christ, but it really is. You can have everything else and not have the Christ. And guess what? You're nowhere. You could have everything else. You could know the Bible word for word. You could quote every psalm in the book. You can know every book and have multiple other books and multiple translations. If you don't have the Christ, all that is nothing. Now, I'm not no big preacher like that on that, but I'm just saying that's the facts. And I'm not saying that people that don't have the Christ in other religions or that have never heard of them are not okay. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that what we need to be, better position. To me, I would recommend and say that it's vital that you need to go ahead and acknowledge the Christ fully and make adjustments. That's my recommendation. Alright, so guys, we're on YouTube at Preach Facts. I think we're gaining momentum here. I'm going to try to have not to focus so much on this during other times of the day, and just save it so I have more impact for you. But I think we're gaining momentum here. This is getting good. And I hope that the atheists and all of them have a better case. Something more that we can grow, because I've grown a lot. I hope there's a better case than what I've been hearing, because I've heard some stuff, man. But all right, have a good day, y'all. You can reach out at the email at preachfacts7@gmail.com. preachfacts7@gmail.com. Have a good day.